Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anup Kokne, and here we discuss about the Indian stock market indices on how they have been trading in today and what we could anticipate the price action for tomorrow. Right? Apologies, I wasn't able to make the videos yesterday as I have been trying the whole day and I have been traveling this whole month. So probably there would be days when I would not be able to do the videos on a regular basis, but I'll make sure whenever I have some time, I'll try to create some of the videos and try to put in my point of view during that course of time. All right, so with this, let's get started. It was an interesting day today for the reason being that we had the MPC policy revealed today from Shaktikanta Das, Mr. Governor, and as expected, right? So it was pretty much, I think the market was expecting this the way it is. There was no change in terms of the basis points from the RBI for this particular quarter. So I think that was already a known sort of a news. But yesterday, for whatever reasons, right? So puts were not giving up on the premiums, and that led to probably a 0.25% of more losses on my capital because I was trading on both puts and calls, though I was trading far off, and that's one of the reasons I have minimum losses. But still, I was not able to make anything because the puts weren't giving anything as such. All right. So it was an interesting day today. I started building in the positions before the 10 a.m. The news was out. So what helped me here was to get in an extra premiums encashed because the volatility was definitely a little high at 11.4 when we started. I think it closed at around probably higher probably, right? So yeah, no, 11.25. Yeah, so 11.4 something, which gave a couple of bucks more in terms of building in the positions early so that I could enjoy the decay of the premiums once this news was revealed, in public. All right. So Nifty definitely didn't touch the all-time high, but I was expecting Nifty to touch the all-time high, which didn't happen, unfortunately. And we started seeing a lot of resistance coming in at the levels of 18,700, right? So there was very, very strong call writing earlier seen at 750 and 800, but then it started slowly moving towards 18,700. And then further down, I mean, you would have seen the whole day, the way the markets have behaved, right? So initial yeah, 1.5, 2 hours. 1.5, 2 hours is where we started seeing an upward momentum, and I was very positive when we started seeing in the support at this levels, at the resistance, that we are heading towards the all-time high. But then came the selling, right? So first 100 points, and then a recovery of say some 40 points, and again another 70, 80 points downside, right? So it brings us down to the previous day's low, which was what we saw yesterday, right? Now, I think, so this is more of a profit booking from the investors, right? So that's my understanding looking at the purview of the things that happened today. And that's exactly what we got to see in the US markets as well. If you look at NASDAQ, I think there was a good amount of profit booking that came in yesterday, 2.5% of profit booking. And I was expecting this to happen, but I didn't expect it to happen pretty much early in the morning today. But I was expecting this rather coming in at 1:30ish, the European time, right? So I mean, the European time zone once their markets open up at 1:30ish IST. But that happened a little early in the morning itself, and then we started seeing a good amount of profit booking coming in both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, right? So as you can see in this intraday chart, so even the CPRs tried cushioning for a certain amount of time, but again we saw a good sell-off coming in, which was pushed down further to the support levels, right? All right, so let's start looking at the daily candles, and then we will get an understanding in terms of the intraday charts. So if you look at the daily candle, then here you see a big sort of an engulfing bearish candle, I would say. Now, probably tomorrow, since we would be building in the positions on the contracts, there may not be too much of a movement unless there is a good amount of profit booking again coming in tomorrow. I'm not very sure that we'll have to wait and watch at this levels and see if it starts taking resistance at 18,650. But if it takes resistance at 650, then probably we can expect it to come down to 18,450, right? And and further, yeah. So 18,450 is a strong level, if you ask me, looking at the price action in the last couple of weeks. But if it is broken, then 18,400 is also pretty good, pretty good and decent in terms of support. Let me also extend this here. Yeah. So this was the level which was tested at 18,458 to be precise. And then furthermore, we have an 20 EMA on the daily chart, which will also be supporting this particular movement from the downside, providing a cushion at least for a couple of days, even if we get to see a break down, which I'm not very sure at this point of time though. Let's get on to the hourly chart and try to see if we have any price action behavior to be mentioned. Yeah, it's a W pattern that we go to see today. Let's draw a trend line and see how this trend line looks like. Okay. Yeah, if you look at this, it has exactly taken the support at the trend line that I'm drawing in now on the hourly chart. So it looks like probably the price would be within this. Let me also try to draw a trend line at the top of this and see if, yeah, it's looking like a channel to me now. Okay. So this is how I see it, right? So it would probably take a bounce from here at this point. If you ask me, this should be a intermediate support level for tomorrow. So 18,600 again being a critical level, which we saw a couple of days ago. We saw good momentum coming in for a decent 180, 200 points, and again we saw a sell-off today coming in back. So this is a critical point at 18,600. Either we could see one more, momentum towards the all-time high, which is a little doubtful looking at the way things have been sold at 18,800 because we need to cross that and get another 100 points ahead. So probably what we could get to see is we can see if this particular level gets a resistance, then we can get to see 18,600 being tested again. Otherwise, we can see the direct fall towards 18,450 as we spoke earlier. So this exactly matches with that, right? So let's look on the intraday time frame, 15 minutes chart, which is our favorite time frame. Okay, so 15 minutes pretty much synchronizes with the hourly chart. So I think we should be good here. Nothing much here. Let's look for the CPRs for tomorrow if we have something more. Yeah, since we have a very good fall today, we see a pretty wide CPR for tomorrow, and there is a negative bias on the closure as well. We got a support at 600, so we will have to wait and watch at this particular levels of 600 and 650 and 670. If price crosses this, then probably we could see 750. Otherwise, we may retest 600 and 600. If broken, we may get back to 550, 500, right? So for tomorrow, I believe this 600, 18,600 should provide a good support in Nifty, right? Let's also look at, a quick view on the weekly CPR and see how the things have shaped this week. Okay. Now, if you look at the weekly CPR, the first week started with a negative CPR, but I mean, the first day started with a negative CPR, but we had a positive momentum. There was a resistance at a weekly resistance level one, then the CPR provided very good support. We saw this escalating much higher to the support level two, and then we start seeing in the sell-off coming in, right? So we have also broken in this resistance one and closed just above it. Now the price is exactly at the weekly VWAP. So I mean, this is a critical level for me to watch, right? So 18,650 definitely is a very critical level, which is a weekly VWAP level. Now, if we get to see a sell-off, probably it will be pushed down further. Tomorrow it sells to 560, 18,550 could be the level. Or we could see the resistance coming in at 18,650, right? So that's how I look at it. But I'd be not trading in Nifty or Bank Nifty for tomorrow for the reason being we don't have any option contracts, and that doesn't give the bias of the market participants. It would be pure price action, and I, uh, tend to also look at the options contract. So probably tomorrow is not a right day for me, as I would not have the data handy with me. But I'll still, keep a watch on this and check if straddles are making sense as I have a very good white CPR that I got to see on a daily CPR chart, right? All right. So with this, we will not look at the options data because we do not have any built up now. We'll get on to Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty, no wonder if you get to see a pretty good sell-off as good as in Nifty, but I think Bank Nifty was okayish in comparison to Nifty. It held back for certain amount of time, and that was one of the reasons Nifty was holding back, right? Otherwise, I think the couple of other sectors would have definitely driven down Nifty much lower. But because of Bank Nifty, we tended to hold it at the CPR levels We also got a good pushback at this particular level at 2 p.m. And then we started seeing a sell-off coming in Bank Nifty as well, right? So banks also started booking a lot of profits here. So again, Bank Nifty at a critical level of 43,000, 44,000, right? So which has been the level which we have been watching in for quite some time. Now, if you look at the RSI momentum, I think we already got into the oversold region, so we should see some bounce back. Then probably the bounce back could be towards 44,200, not more than that. Let's get on to the hourly chart. Or before that, I would like to see on the weekly CPR levels and try to get an understanding. Yeah, the weekly the weekly VWAP has also been broken. We have taken in the support at the CPR at this point of time. There is the previous week low at 43,700, which I'm not very sure if we get to see the negative bias and some more profit booking coming in from the investors. Probably 43,700 should be the level for tomorrow. Otherwise, I think we can head forward towards 44,300, which is 44,200. Sorry, my bad. 44,200, which could be the resistance for tomorrow, right? That's what I see on Bank Nifty. Even Bank Nifty doesn't look to me with a very strong momentum. Let's see the CPR for tomorrow. Yeah, it's a wide CPR. It's a lower value relationship. The price closing below the CPR indicates the negative bias. 43,789 is very good to see the support for tomorrow. Yeah. So either 200 points on the upside or the downside is what I anticipate in Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty could be a good candidate for tomorrow if we have to play straddles and the price exactly opens at the CPR levels, right? So which is your central pivot point range. Now let's quickly look on the hourly time frame and see if we can find any price action patterns here. Mm, yeah, I think Bank Nifty pretty much again tested back at the higher all-time high today. And then we started seeing a sell-off coming in from the all-time high. Probably we would test in 43,700 is what I anticipate. So 300 points downside before we get a push. And if this gets broken, probably we would also get to see 43,400, right? But this may only happen in the next week. It may not happen by tomorrow. We'll have to wait for the price action from Monday to start seeing in these levels. But definitely on the hourly time frame, there is a downward momentum in the RSI as well, which I get to see here. So we should be able to see some selling coming in Bank Nifty. Okay. All right. So that's how Bank Nifty looks like. We already saw the CPR. Now let's look at FINNIFTY. FINNIFTY would be the one which I would like to trade for tomorrow, but let's quickly look at FINNIFTY for today's price action. Wow. So very similar to what Bank Nifty and Nifty has done. There is a good amount of sell-off. I think the sell-off has been bad in FINNIFTY in comparison to even Bank Nifty. It came down up to 19,400 and then it has rested now at 19,450. Okay, let's look on the weekly chart if there is any possibility of the momentum that we can see on the downward. No, I think there is a good support that's been provided back by you know the lower levels of the CPR. So we will have to see where the price opens tomorrow. If it opens on the upside, then probably 19,500 is the resistance. And if it starts seeing in a selling, then I would see it coming down to 350, right? So I would say 100 points on either sides is what I get to see as the momentum for FINNIFTY. We will look at the CPR width, which can probably give us some understanding in terms of what we can expect for tomorrow. It's pretty wide, yeah. So it's pretty wide, but I'll wait for the histogram to be built tomorrow. The histogram is very similar to what you get to see here as for today. So we had a trending CPR today, right? So it's 0.09. For tomorrow, I'm expecting this to be somewhere greater than zero point 0.3. If you have greater than zero point 0.3, I think even playing straddles in Nifty is also very beneficial, right? So because 100 points movement on either side is not a big movement. So we should be able to get some good time decay in terms of capturing in the theta in Nifty. Okay, wonderful. So let's look on the hourly chart and see if we have any good price action movements that can be captured. So now if you look at this hourly chart, there is a trend line which is coming in from the bottom. All right, all right. This is cool. So there is a support. I think, yeah. So this green candle is what is creating some support. Now, if you look at this, it's pretty much looking like, we may get one more retest back to 600, 19,600. But if this trend line acts as a support, so this is a key level. The closing of today is a very good key level, I would say. So if this level is broken tomorrow at 400, then we can get down and see even 19,000, this level, right? So 19,300. So 150 points on the bottom side and another 150 points on the top side, right? So that could be the range of Nifty for tomorrow. Let's try to get a confirmation from, what do you say, the option contracts. I'm sorry. All right, so option contracts on Finifty. What do we have on Finifty? Okay, so if you look at the total volumes of the call and the open interest, we have 2,81,000, and then on the puts, it's 1,87,000. So there is almost 1 lakh contracts more on the call side, which indicates the bearishness holistically, if you look at it. Now, if you look at the intraday change, you see on this 1 lakh difference is coming in from the intraday change that has happened today, right? So that's quite interesting. Now we'll have to wait and watch tomorrow to see if we get a gap down or it will open at the as is levels. I pretty much I assume up to 65% that we should be opening at the as is levels, but you never know how the sentiments would change and what we get to see. Now the current levels are at 19,436. So that's between 400 and 450, right? Okay, so if you look at the puts concentration, there is not too much of it in terms of just 18,000 contracts here and 9,000 contracts. So 19,400 definitely looks weak to me. 19,450 has no put contracts, hardly 9K, 9K. So 450 is almost in equilibrium. 19,400 has a little bit of put contracts, but I think 19,300 is where you get to see the puts concentration, right? So 21 to 97. Okay. And then on the upside, you see it only at 19,500. But again, you also have some of the puts, 30,000, which is also going to be a straddle level. The 450 and 500 are mostly the straddle levels. So we'll have to check tomorrow. And then you see a good concentration at 19,600. So I think anything below 19,600, 19,700 to be on a safer side for this month, as I spoke earlier in the previous video. Maybe I'll bet on 19,700 as a triangle with 19,200, right? So 2 and 7 is what I'll probably play for tomorrow because I would be, not 100% glued to my screen. So probably I'll be playing it safe. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I broadly see on FinNifty. The safest levels are 200 and 700. Otherwise, if there's not too much of a momentum and then it starts opening it right at the CPR levels, which are the wide CPR levels, then probably I'll play the straddles at both the strikes, right? So 450 and 19,450 and 19,500. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you guys liked the video for today. And like my point of view in terms of what I trade on a day-to-day basis. Thank you very much for your time for watching in my video. So take care, guys. Good luck for your trading tomorrow. Good night and bye-bye.